There's a prison without bars, an invisible silent prison that many call simply habit, but it steals lives, destroys dreams and extinguishes the inner light of the soul. This prison has a simple name yet a devastating power: addiction. And perhaps without realizing it, you too are inside it. Addiction is not just dependence on something. It's an open wound in the soul that tries to be filled with anything that brings relief. It could be a cigarette, a drink, a phone screen, a relationship, a game, food, or even work. Addiction is the inner cry of a soul trying to fill a spiritual void with something that will never fit. The truth is, addiction never begins big. It enters quietly. It appears as a refuge, a comfort, an innocent pleasure. But over time, what was once a choice becomes a chain. What once brought pleasure turns into guilt. What was a distraction becomes dependence. And that's when we realize we've lost control. But there's something even deeper. Addiction is a mirror reflecting what's missing inside us. It's the echo of a soul that longs for healing, but seeks anesthesia instead. Because when we can't bear to feel pain, we choose something that merely numbs what truly needs to be healed. Think of the Apostle Paul's words in Romans 7:19. "For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I do." Paul wasn't only speaking of actions, he was speaking of inner prisons. He described the human conflict that lives within all of us, the desire to change, yet feeling too weak to do so. Addiction is that battlefield, the war between the spirit that longs to be free and the flesh that has grown used to captivity. But if there is a war, there is also a path to victory. And it doesn't begin with strength, guilt, or shame. It begins with awareness, with the simple act of looking within and saying, "I need help. I want to be free." Because the first step to freedom is not quitting the addiction. It's stopping the denial. It's allowing yourself to see the void you've been feeding and realizing that nothing the world offers will ever fill it. There's an old story about a man who carried 2 bowls of rice, one full, one empty. Every day he would pour rice from the full bowl into the empty one and say, "These are my 2 souls. One leads me to the light. The other drags me back into addiction." A disciple asked him, "Which one wins?" The man replied, "The one I feed the most." That's what addiction is, feeding the wrong soul day after day. But the good news is, it's never too late to change what you feed. It's never too late to choose what nourishes your mind, your heart, your energy. Many believe overcoming addiction means simply stopping something, but it's the opposite. It means beginning to fill the emptiness with what is real, replacing poison with truth, escape with faith, impulse with awareness. In the Gospel of John 8:32, there's a universal promise, "And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." That truth is not mere knowledge, it's inner illumination. It's when the heart understands that freedom isn't about running away from something, but returning to yourself and to God. Addictions are like shadows. They grow when we move away from the light. But when we start walking toward it, even with trembling steps, the shadow begins to fade. That's why freedom isn't an event, it's a journey. And every conscious step is a cry of victory over the past. Many who struggle with addiction live burdened by guilt. But guilt is the chain addiction uses to keep you trapped. It makes you believe you don't deserve a new beginning. But the truth is, no mistake defines you. You are greater than your addictions, because within you still lives something that longs to be free. Some may say, "I've tried so many times, and I always fall back." But every attempt is a brick in the building of your freedom. Even when you fall, you're still stronger than before, because only those who fight know the value of every step. One day, a young man asked a spiritual teacher, "How can I break free from an addiction that controls me?" The master replied, "Stop fighting against the addiction and start fighting for who you are without it." That sentence changes everything, because when you understand that addiction is not who you are, but just a wounded part that needs healing, the battle shifts from punishment to compassion. That's why healing from addiction is never just about willpower. It's about love. It's about forgiveness. It's about reconnection. It's the moment the spirit decides to care for what pain tried to hide. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment and repeat silently, "I choose freedom. I choose peace. I choose to forgive myself." Feel the weight lifting off your chest, because every time you choose light, addiction loses power. It feeds on darkness. But no addiction can survive a soul that has chosen to truly love itself. The road may be long, but you are not alone. God walks with you, even through relapse, through tears, through doubt. His presence doesn't leave because you fell. It draws closer to lift you up. And in that invisible touch begins true liberation. Now, if you wish, bring your hands together and pray with me. Lord of life, I give you my weaknesses and my fears. You know the chains that bind me and the pain I try to hide. Give me strength not to run from myself, and courage to choose the path of light. Turn my addiction into wisdom, my pain into learning, and my emptiness into love. May every step I take be guided by your peace. Amen. Freedom is a process. It's not about never falling again, but about rising each time with greater awareness. It's learning to be patient with your own soul, and believing that every sunrise brings another chance. So if today you're fighting something that feels stronger than you, remember, what holds you is small compared to the one who created you, and he who lives within you is greater than any addiction trying to control you. The journey to freedom begins the moment you believe it's possible. And today, that's your first step. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave one word in the comments, freedom, and subscribe to keep receiving messages that feed your soul. Visit the playlist called The Prayer You Need. There you'll find the prayer meant for your life right now. And remember, you are stronger than any addiction. Love yourself first. Step by step, we're returning home, to that inner place where no addiction can live.